Comrades, I am Admiral Andre, and welcome back to Realpolitiks, where we continue with Turkey. I have to say, since the last episode, I have been playing behind the scenes, so to speak, on a totally different country, Germany in fact, and coupled with some great comments that I received on the last episode, I am finally starting to see how we can turn things around permanently for Turkey. Of course, we started with that in the last episode, but now we really need to get into the numbers, and that is something I have really never done. Well, maybe I've touched on it somewhat, but for example, our really bad growth. We can see our taxes here contribute to the low growth just as much as the world economic situation. So this I have to give credit for Comrade Must I, who commented on the previous video, and we're going to address some of those comments and some of the points that I've learned playing as Germany. I played about till 2055 or so, just straight through, just trying to learn as much as possible. And I have to say there's a lot of the depth of this game that I haven't really touched before, and that is something that I think will really turn things around for us. So first things first, let's just see if we can make Armenia happy. They want to leave the bloc and I don't want them to. Of course, we have to let the clock just run a little bit to get some money here. And we get some immediate events. The leading party has been influenced by various interest groups. We have to choose the lesser evil. Go with the military or with the monopolies. And here we get a first connection to the comments again. And this is of course our interventionism, which is not very high, I have to say. No, this is Armenia. Let's get the facts straight here. But our interventionism, I believe, I actually need to see what it is right now, but it's harming our economic growth because the state essentially is interfering too much in the economy, and that is stifling some innovation and all of that. So here I would rather take the military sector. The militarism thing is what we want anyway, because we still have to claim all of the lands that rightfully belong to us. So military sector. So there again you see, making the choices here, there's consequences to that in terms of the numbers. Let's just have a look at that now. You see our interventionism is 11 now, which is, I would say, moderate, but it's too high. To just put it plainly. If we have a look here, you see the effects. GDP growth is 0, so it is not harming our growth, I'll grant that, but it's not helping it either. It's also meaning that our minimum taxes will be 25% and the maximum 73%. The debt, it allows more debt luckily, which certainly we need, but we also need to get rid of this debt. And the project's cost also increases here by 0.4%, which is another thing we don't want. So interventionism, I want to drop it. I think we will always have some interventionism because some of the projects that we have undertaken will involve that, and I don't want to cancel them, but we just need to moderate this. I think that's one of our priorities. Personal control I'm not really too concerned about. We have a pretty relaxed society here. There is some personal control which is lowering our unhappiness there, but it's not very high, so we don't have to worry too much about that. In terms of our democracy here, you can see it is under threat, but I think this is not necessarily a bad thing because we need to start getting back into our conflicts again. This is something we have been neglecting in favor of our economy. But as Comrade Must I, pointed out, we can of course grow our GDP and our population, meaning that we get more tax income by taking over more provinces. So the very thing that we've been putting off is our salvation. So that's another very interesting paradox there. So it doesn't really matter. Of course, being authoritarian means we can attack countries more freely and take over lands more freely, but I don't want to get too overboard, because then of course we will have some warmonger problems and all of that. And of course I have not forgotten the Americans attacking us. So, with that said, let us begin by lowering the taxes. We can see here very plainly, I must have been blind, tax to GDP growth, it's lowering our GDP growth by 0.24% per month. So this I've also clarified for myself. This is the monthly GDP change. So of course, if we want to see what our yearly GDP change is, like we normally refer to GDP growth in sort of the real world, then we just multiply that by 12. So it's actually, let's take that just for the sake of it, 0.24 times 12. So it is hurting our economic growth by 2.88% per year, which is ridiculously terrible. So lowering taxes is a immediate priority. Of course, it will hurt our income as well, but the growth is now the priority to dig us out of this hole that we're in. So it still hurts it a little bit, but certainly much less. And if we want to lower taxes even further, we need to lower our interventionism, because it means now that we must have a minimum tax of at least 25%. So there is all the pieces of the puzzle starting to fit together. Then, of course, we see our budget. What are we spending money on? Because money has always been a problem for us. I have to say it's totally different playing as Germany, because you can't get rid of the money. It's rolling in so fast. What becomes a problem later on, which we also found in South Africa, is your action points, because your expenses for your various projects, as you can see right there, it's minus 99. That accumulates as you do more and more things through the course of a game. And I think that's a very clever and very good balance mechanic, because later on a country like Germany gets so rich that essentially you can do anything you want. So this sort of limits your ambitions a little bit, in the sense that you have to balance your action point expenditure. Since really that is, it means you can't do anything if you don't have action points. So you have to choose your actions very carefully, even as a powerful country, which I think is really brilliant. And we are already suffering a little bit from that, because we're spending 100 of our action points per month on maintenance of our projects and events. So I have to say a lot of that will be unavoidable, though, because this is just the sort of routine projects. However, the ad hoc ones are the really expensive ones, like the diplomatic offensive. It's costing us 36 action points per month. This is a problem. The ad hoc actions, really, you don't want to keep them on too long. And again, this is stuff I'm only cluing up to now, but rather late than ever. So we'll have to see let's look at this right now before I get distracted again. What is our diplomatic situation right now? Good and bad, but overall not too terrible. So I think we can afford to cancel that ad hoc project. It will cost us 7 of the relations with all of the countries in the world, but we don't have any warmonger to lose right now. So you are out of here. And immediately we have more action points coming in. So we don't have any others here. We also don't have any unique projects, but unique projects don't take any action point maintenance, just initial expenses. The rest of it, you see, like the international actions, that costs 3 and so on. A lot of these projects have small amounts of maintenance of action points, and this is something I'm okay with, because this gives us a running benefit, relations with our world +5, and you saw the ad hoc one was +7 for 35 action points per month. So the cost-benefit ratio there is really not worth it over a long term, but this one certainly is. So there we go. Then the next thing that I need to pay attention to is, well, now that we have a few cents in our bank account, let's just try and cozy up to our friends here. Improve relations, and then of course I'll still try to get Georgia into the bloc, but that is for a little bit later. Then what is the next thing? We have to conquer. We have to, like Churchill said, there was a great movie, The Gathering Storm, I think, where he says near the end, what was the general's name? I don't know. There's a clip on YouTube where he says, this general went to the battlefield and he said, "Today I conquer or die." And the same then applied for Churchill, and the same now applies to us. So today we conquer or die. Now then, Comrade Must I also said that as Turkey we should have some claims or cores on the Balkan countries here, but unfortunately we do not. I think either this expired or we took the ones to the south, but they definitely expired a long time ago. So we don't actually have those. We have to fabricate claims from scratch, but that's okay. We can do that. So what we have to decide now is what exactly are we going to take, and we have to start somewhere. And also getting these cores will take time and resources, but in terms of the warmonger, it's certainly worth it. So I think let us begin with, do we actually border Baghdad? I don't think we do. No, we don't. So we're going to have to try and do this on Mashrik's own land. So you can see we don't, no, I don't want to add them up to my block. There, Kaina core. So can I take this one? That's the question. Yes, I can, because I think this Aleppo is their capital region, but never mind that. We just need 500 not action points, money. So let's just close and wait for the money to roll in and for our friendship gestures to go through there. And then we must start claiming and conquering. That's it. It has to be like that. If we just have a look also, and this is another thing I want to do as soon as we have the money, but of course the money is the problem. Having these special projects in our provinces will be very beneficial. For example, the next gen city, and we do have the required research, we just don't have the money. That gives us 80 GDP, 100 population and extra score. So yes, it's a thing to do. Now let's just have a look at the trade map. We can see here, of course, what each of the provinces contributes to our GDP there, 526 and 376 and so on. And of course the minerals as well. And if we look at the society map, we can see the population. So this is also where like the social housing comes in. Then you get 150 more population. And it doesn't sound like much when you consider there's 2,600 there, but it's extra money, so extra taxpayers. So with that much rambling, let's continue. I just thought that was a really good thing to ground myself now, to just go over all of this stuff. So let's just hope our gestures work here, otherwise we're about to lose some friends. And the voting we changed to authoritarian. That's a good thing. That's exactly what I wanted. I just don't want the interventionism to keep going up. That is a bad thing. So right now we have to accept it, unfortunately. No, I don't want to learn about it. We've already been authoritarian before. Okay, Armenia is happy. And Azerbaijan is happy. Great. So an immediate success there. Now we just need the 500 lira there. I guess this would probably be something like 500 million lira to fabricate a claim here. And again, yes, this is another thing. When I was starting the Germany game, I was just looking around at the various scenarios and things that you can start with. And with the United States, they actually have an option of starting, it's called Peace in the Middle East, is the scenario's name. And there it actually says they must take out Mashriq because they are a threat. So Mashriq is ISIS, confirmed, basically. So I want their land. They don't deserve to be here. Empty project slot. Now, of course, this will cost us a bit, but the action points we can afford now, and this is the thing we must get. Quantity easing. This gives us slightly lower relations with the rest of the world, but 20% more income from our stock market, and the stock market is really the lifeblood of our economy. So we have to do this. There is just no question about it, and anytime we can get things to boost our stock market, we have to do it. Speaking of which, is everything going smoothly here? Yes, it is. So you can see our income right now is 209, and 148-ish of that is just from the stock market, but you can see it's plummeting because of the world market and so on. But more than half of our income is coming solely from our glorious stock market. So we are literally dependent on that. So actually though, let's just have a look at the projects again. quantity easing gives us more money from our stock market, but the trade barriers, okay, that also gives us 12%, but there is another, is there not another one that allows us to get more members into the stock market? World Trade Organization, no, I think that is the one that we're busy with, because that is to expand the financial sector. But in any case, these two are mutually exclusive. You either do the currency wars or you do the World Trade Organization. Now you see, currency wars actually pushes up our interventionism by +2, but also our GDP growth. So it's a trade-off there. What's the other one again? It's giving us HDI, it drops the interventionism, gives us more natural resources. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to backtrack right now. You know, a leader has the right to change his or her mind. So quantity easing is out of here. I am not interested anymore. We just started it anyway, so it's not a problem. And I am going to cancel our currency wars. Yes, the GDP will take a minor hit for a little while. Deactivate it. And then we will go towards the World Trade Organization. Of course, I need the money. I should have waited a little bit, but I'm just going to start. More debt. Hopefully we can get rid of it soon enough. But yes, I'm more happy with that path because it gives us more positive relations with the world and it lowers our interventionism. So we hope that it will succeed. I think we should just fabricate a claim now, whether we have the money or not. Just get it. Implement. Yes, it's more loans, but it's not necessarily at the cap yet, luckily. I've seen also, I started a very brief game with Palestine, and there literally there's almost nothing you can do but go bankrupt. And then I did see what that little warning looks like before you go bankrupt, so we'll just have to keep a lookout for that. Then what's happening? UN members have been selected. The United States of Central America is forming now, so I guess that's good for them. There's no voting happening. Attack on totalitarianism. We must just not become totalitarian. We must also make sure our warmonger level doesn't go above 45 at least for too long, because I don't want a repeat of what happened before. United States is at war with Mexico, so I guess the United States of Central America will be watching that closely. But now the US is in the UN hit list there for this act of war, but I'm not going after them, forget it. So that's the way it is now. A radical change, but hopefully radical, what's the key word in South Africa these days? Radical economic transformation. So we're going to achieve, we're not just going to try, we will achieve radical economic transformation in Turkey. So, is anyone wanting anything? Pay a good price for resources. You know what? You're my kind of friend, Montenegro. You want 77? Can we afford it? That's the question now. Unfortunately, I can't actually exit this now to look. But this was another good comment again from Comrade Must I, that we can actually go and look to see how many natural resources we need to maintain our current economic system. And I think it should be something like 80 or something like that. So this 77 is definitely going to push us below that, and then we're going to run into trouble. So I regrettably have to deny this request. So let us remember that 77. Now let's go and have a look. Economy. Up here, the profile. So our services economy actually only needs 22. Well, we could have done it. Barely, but you know, now I know, 22. So the industry one would take 36, the agricultural one would take nothing. But yes, we at least need to have an HDI of 60 at all times and 22 natural resources in our, I guess, account there to maintain our profile of a service-based economy. So, anything else? Does anyone else want anything? Ukraine has a stock exchange, no big deal. We still have to develop the moon. That has to be a priority. Well, what's this? Wars. So the US has now 94 warmonger. That's still because of the war with Mexico. Their problem. I doubt if anyone will take them on about that. But I certainly invite them to. Come on, I hope this Mashriq thing is going to succeed because we need some good luck now. We have 51, no, let's say 50 years exactly to turn things around. But we are number 3, so it's not really that much of a worry, I think. Nationalist movements in Russia, they want to rebuild the Soviet Union. Now it's going to be fun for their neighbors, I guess. Not really fun, but ironic fun. So, yes, we have to watch out. Georgia, if you want to join us, now would be the time, you know. Let's try and improve relations a bit there. Let's pay the debt. Pay the debt. It is costing us 342 per month, so we would literally have more than double the income that we have right now if we didn't have this debt. But, you know, life is a trade-off, so we just have to make the best with what we have. Come on, improve relations. You know you want to join. Thank you. Are you willing? Not yet. We have to help you. That will take 25 resources and more money than I care to pay right now, so let's forget that. Chinese in Siberia. The Chinese people are migrating in droves to the north and settling in Siberia. They are becoming the majority in these lands. I have to say I don't think I've ever seen a war between Russia and China in this game. I might be wrong, but I think they have a natural affinity for one another as rather authoritarian or totalitarian countries, and of course superpowers essentially. So we'll have to see. India has been degraded. Let's take care of this. I have to say with Germany I had so few action points I didn't even have the money or the action points to improve these relations there, but I had so much money I didn't need to. Let's see. Romania joins, no, Moldova joins Romania. So I guess that's a better deal for them. Certainly in the face of Russian expansionism. Diplomatic crisis, I would say, I mean, they are at war. Now, who would I take here? I will have to take the underdog. I mean, we know that the US is the aggressor in this war, so I'm supporting Mexico. Moldova has joined. Soon Mashriq, or at least Aleppo, will join us. Every few years with a higher score, so the forecast right now shows that we will have 3rd place, but hopefully we can push it to 2nd place. We're less than 70 behind China right now, and Germany is literally biting at our heels, so let's hope. I hope my spies are up to the task of fabricating a claim here. Didn't they know this is our land historically? Aleppo is part of the Ottoman Empire. So is everything else here, but we have to do it one at a time, I guess. We certainly have enough time to do that, 50 years. But we're going to have to be very focused right now. That's the big thing. And we'll have to make some difficult choices and trade-offs where we will have to give up certain things, I'm sure. I doubt if we'll also have the time and resources to go into Europe here, but maybe, who knows. World trade is implemented. Now I need the 2nd level. Break trade barriers, so our relations with the world will go up and our stock market income will go up. So we're removing government legislated trade limitations. I'm surprised the countries actually like us because of that. Oh, come on, it was a disaster. No, now we have to wait, and I can't go after Mosul because they're part of India's bloc. We could try and disrupt India's bloc, but That costs 4,500. No, 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 no. We're going to have to turn our gaze to Europe, I think, for now. What if we try a claim on Greece? They're not in anyone's block right now. Didn't they know Thrace is part of Turkey? 90 more debt is fine. Let's just get this thing done and take it. Unfortunately, Bulgaria is in South Korea's block, but I don't know how that happened. Kosovo is bankrupt. Don't you want to join us? Okay, no, but we don't want a bankrupt country. And we have more dissenters here who want to leave. Armenia is the big one, but let's just see if we can't improve both again. This is a problem. I guess that's the side effect of cancelling the ad hoc project where we improved relations with the world. Kosovo, let's just clear all this stuff. Loan taken, failure, India status has been degraded, Ukraine, Mexico, the red planet, we cannot compete. I'm sorry, comrades, we will have to sit this one out. The moon is enough for us. I think we'll have to be somewhat modest here. There is already water on Mars. With our experience, building settlements shouldn't be too hard, but it costs 1,000 every single time. The action points is fine, but the money is not, so I'm sorry. We have improved our relations with Armenia and with Azerbaijan, so that's going well. Although there is a second prize here as well. Phobos, one of the moons, of course. No, if we had the money, I'll throw it in, but we don't have the money, so the moon is enough. That's probably going to be the title of this episode. Summit crisis between China and India, and who will we take? I wish we could temporarily minimize windows like this so I could see. I think we have both of them in our stock market. I know we have India. Let's just take India, it doesn't matter really. Yes, China and India. So a choice was not going to have any good consequence either way. Degraded, let's fix that. The US is not really giving us a lot of money though. India is just giving us bank like crazy. Only 10. Spy actions. Someone has done a spy action on us. Look at our income from the stock market. It's 0. Yes, someone has disrupted us here. Money. Greece wants money. We can help you with your financial trouble by consolidating all your debts. We can offer you a much lower interest rate too. Debt interest will go down by 15% for just over a year, and it only costs us 197 action points. Guess what, Greece? You're my new friend, even though I'm making a claim on one of your provinces there, but we shall keep hush-hush about that. Baltic Union will not exist much longer. Pakistan wants something, but let's not get involved there. We have enough problems. France and Indonesia. The UAE has gone to a democracy. Well, it doesn't really concern us, I guess. Oh yes, I also have to say, when I was playing the German thing, I actually enjoyed playing with a plain view map more than the detailed one. It just makes things clearer to see. So let's try that for a little while and see. You must let me know what you prefer. Do you like this map view or this one? You can see it's a little more washed out, and of course we have these buildings all over the place, not necessarily to the correct scale, but either one has some benefit, I guess. But let's use the plain view for now. Malta joined Canada's block. There we go. Is our stock market working again? Slowly, you see it's coming back up. Good. The terrorists, traitors, enemies of the state, they couldn't disrupt us for too long. Come on, spies, you have to win here. Let's hope the Greeks don't change their minds about our debt situation. Kosovo joins Albania, so it looks like we've entered the time of consolidation in the face of Russia, I guess. Although I don't think Kosovo would be concerned about that. They just want to join Albania, although the Serbs would not necessarily be too satisfied with that. Let's see, nothing else happening except my alarm going off. No other events or requests that I can see, although I have seen some videos where I missed some. Oh well. Okay, what's happening now? Come on, we need the score. 174, 76. Okay, now things are getting back to where they should be. Mosul wants money, but they can take a leap somewhere. They will join the Great Collective soon. Should we throw money to this Mars thing? Probably not. What is one investment going to do? No, let's be modest. Let's not do it. I don't think it's going to work because I can't keep doing that. The little money that we have, we need to save for the next projects that we want to do. Palestine wants something. What's the cost for us? We would like to enter your market with even higher power than before. Unfortunately, your current import tariffs prevent that, which is ironic because we're trying to break trade barriers. Would you mind reducing them? Relations will go up, GDP will drop. No, sorry, we're going to be a self-interested actor on the world stage right now and refuse. Turkey first. That's our new policy, I guess. Although not, what's this now? Okay, no, oh my good grief, not another disaster. Now everybody hates us and there's no good reason for that. Look at our warmonger now, for nothing. Let's look at our relations. Luckily, it doesn't really affect the whole world's perception of us, just the particular country we targeted. And Mashriq still seems green for some reason. Can we take another one? Let's try Latakia. See what happens with that. Okay, what else can I do? The money is looking decent-ish right now, although we still need to turn things around a bit more, but I can pay some of the debt. Let's do that. There we go. It's got some real implications there in the sense that we get more money in our pockets every month. What more? Come on, I want to start some conquests over here, but if I just start conquering left and right, then we're going to run into problems again. Although I suppose we could make an exception for Mashriq, then just implement some projects to reduce the damage politically or diplomatically in terms of our warmonger. I guess you are just not interested in joining, are you, Georgia? Then you must just lay in the bed which you have made. It's because our relations are just too low to begin with. We need to have the help country and the improved relations work at the same time. Although, no. Don't even think about it. So what other comments were there? Let me just have a look while I'm just rambling here. Let's just go onto my phone here. GDP grows when you take over a province. You have cause. No, I don't know, missed that. It's all about the numbers. Look at that. There we go. The thing we have been trying to do so long has finally happened. So really, a new day is dawning. What is our new task? Let's just have a look at that. It's all about the numbers. Improve the GDP again. That's not a problem. Oh my goodness, another project. Let me just hold on here. Just see is there anything. You talked about minerals. Deactivating things like collective state farms. Stock market will be more expensive. Tax to GDP. Okay, let's just hold on. There's another thing I want to just look at quickly. This I can pay for. That's 100. That's fine. Now, let's just have a look in our projects again. No, not actually the projects, the statistics. Here we can see what we're paying for our different projects. In terms of money, the collective state farms, Comrade Must I, you are indeed correct. That is by far the most expensive thing. So I think it could be well worth it to cancel this thing. Let's have a look at it. Internal politics, I think. Or was it under economy? Collective state farms. Here, what is the benefit that we're getting from this? Unemployment growth is dropping, but what is our unemployment right now? Scroll, 0. So that is entirely irrelevant. Interventionism is higher because of it, and the population growth. But we can get population growth through various health initiatives, so I am cancelling the collective state farms. I have seen the light, and it is beautiful. Okay, now, money, basic infrastructure, there's no way I'm cancelling that one. Social benefits, I think I'm happy with the rest. In terms of action points, the most that we're paying is 4, and I'm happy with that, so that's okay. Natural resources, our small exports take 35, which is fine again. Actually, once the break trade barriers is done, I might try to export even more minerals. Let's see if we can do that. And it is done, so we get more stock income and more relations with the world. So, trade. What is big exports? 70. Now, we need to keep 22 in our account at all times. Now, we can do that, but that means we can't do any other actions that will require temporarily for us to pay minerals, like, for example, when we help another country. So what I might do is cancel the small one. Yes, we're cancelling the small one, and we are taking the big exports. What about the huge one? That gives us still 43 in our account. Let's do that. We're taking the huge exports. So that should also help, at least temporarily again. 43 minerals is more than we need, and we can still help countries. If we just have a look here at Georgia, it takes 25. Ooh, how much do we have left then? Good grief, my maths is letting me down now. 22 plus 25 gives us 47. That is too much, so we still couldn't do it. Okay, abort this one. Abort! Just take the big exports, that's fine. So the new motto is we must check before we do something, which I should have been doing, but hey, again, better late than never. So, one more thing done. No, we'll stop here, I think. We've done a great deal of disruption to our old ways of doing things, and this is Radical Economic Transformation. I think that will rather be the episode's name. Wait, what does Russia want? We may not agree on everything, this is true, but that doesn't mean we must be enemies. We would like to sign an official treaty of friendship. My warmonger will go up by 15, but we don't have any, well, not any that shows anymore, so we can do that. It gives us a bit better relations with Russia. I am not opposed to that. 25 is still below the 45 limit where we become a target. So yes, that will anyway not last too long. What's this one? Oh, good grief, I have to stop now. Protectionism acceptance, no. You can go fly. So that's enough for now. Thank you for watching. Do let me know about how I'm doing right now, if this is putting us on a better path, and whether you like this new map view, the plain one. I have to say I actually prefer it. It just makes things much more brighter and easier to see. So anyway, yes, the other thing I wanted to mention is I am toying, this is now very preliminary, toying with the idea of eventually doing a live stream of some kind, but I don't know if it will really be worth it. I might get 2 people watching, but hey, that's 2 people. But this will not be very soon. I still have to figure out the whole thing of live streaming and what I actually need to do with it. And but it's an idea. Let's put it out there and just see what people think about it. So that's it for now, and have a fantastic day, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend, comrades. May you prevail in all of your endeavors.